All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are live here on the great website of YouTube. Welcome back to the show. It is Tuesday, July 15th. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not kidding when I say this. We have one hell of a broadcast today. There is a lot to talk about. Stuff is unfolding very, very quickly. I'm going to go through the bullet point list of everything we're going to break down today, and then we're going to really dive into all of it. So first off, thank you all very much for tuning in today. I need to shave and I need a haircut, so sorry about this. I'm looking a little bit homeless. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video down below. Guys, this is going to be one hell of a show. So first off, the left-wing media all day has been reporting that the House GOP, the House Republicans, just voted to keep the Epstein list hidden, concealed from the public, but this is actually fake news. They are lying about it, and we're going to break all of that down. And by the way, it's not just the left-wing media that is spreading this fake news narrative. It's also left-wing politicians. We're going to dissect the entire situation. We also hear from President Trump twice today, once in the morning and once just about an hour ago, about his current thoughts on the ongoing Epstein situation. A lot of drama right now. So we're going to take a look at what President Trump himself had to say about all of this today, twice today. House Speaker Mike Johnson, who is the third most highest senior ranking Republican in the country, has just given his opinion about this entire situation. The Epstein situation is the big topic of the day. And honestly, I think his opinion on this is actually going to shock you guys. I was shocked when I saw what he had to say. We're going to break that down as well. Now we are also having members of the House GOP actually calling publicly, numerous of them, numerous congressional Republicans are calling for a special counsel, which is an investigative counsel into the Epstein situation to get to the bottom of what has been going on. Also, there's a lot today. Like I said, just hours ago, maybe 2 hours ago, a bipartisan bill was released publicly. By the way, Democrats and Republicans in the House are pushing right now. What this bill would do is mandate the Department of Justice to release all of the Epstein files. This bill is getting bipartisan support. So folks, if you thought that this Epstein situation was just going to go away and we're just going to stop talking about it for better or for worse, regardless of your opinion or my opinion or President Trump's opinion, this situation is only escalating. There's a term for this. It's called the Streisand effect. It's kind of like if you tell people to stop talking about something, hey, shut up, stop talking about that. Well, people are probably just going to start talking about it even more. And so now this entire situation is just blowing up right now. We have had a lot of developments today. And so also we're going to talk about why this entire situation is such a big deal. We hear from Mark Mitchell, who is the lead pollster at Rasmussen Reports. Rasmussen Reports, by the way, I think a lot of you guys know this, is probably the most respectable, trustworthy pollster when it comes to polling Donald Trump supporters, Republicans, MAGA, America First voters. President Trump, for the last 10 years, has always spoken very highly of Rasmussen Reports. Very trustworthy pollster when it comes to conservative polling. So we're going to hear from Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen Reports. We're going to see how things are doing. And also we're going to hear what his opinion is on all of this and why all of this is such a big deal. We're also going to take a listen quickly to what Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire has to say about the situation, because he has a clip today that has been going viral, like hundreds of thousands of views all over Twitter. Everybody is tuning into what he had to say today. So we're going to take a look at that, guys. We are going to start breaking down the entire situation. Like I said, this is just an entire shit show. Pardon my language. This entire situation is blowing up. So let's go ahead and get into this, guys. First off, Hakeem Jeffries, like I said, the Democrats, the progressives in the media and in Congress have been lying about some of the stuff that's gone on today. Hakeem Jeffries is here. Just a couple hours ago, 90 minutes ago, he said, more than 210 House Republicans voted today to block the release of the Epstein files. What are these people hiding? Well, real quick, before we unpackage this, because like I said, they are lying. The Democrats are lying about this. This is not what happened today. Joe Biden and the Democrats, they were in control of the Epstein files for 4 long years, and they were long years indeed. We all know that they were. Are we supposed to believe that the Democrats, oh man, the Democrats want these files released, and Donald Trump, the evil Donald Trump, he's trying to keep them hidden from us, and it's the Republicans. The Republicans don't want us to see the Epstein files, but the Democrats, we want them out. Really, Hakeem Jeffries? Then why did the Democrats, alongside Joe Biden, do nothing for 4 years? You guys could have released them at any point between 2021 and 2025, January of 2025. You decided not to do it, did you? Okay, so what really happened here today? This is one of these reports that came out a couple hours ago. The House Republicans have unanimously voted to block the release of the Epstein files. This is what the progressive media and the Democrats have been parroting all day, except this is not what happened. Let's take a look at what Republican Representative Anna Paulina Luna, and also we're going to take a look at what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say about actually what happened today. The House GOP conference as a whole did not vote to block the release of the Epstein files today. There was a vote in the House, but it wasn't a vote in any way even relating to the Epstein files, despite what the radical far left progressives are saying. They're lying to all of you. They're lying to the American people. There was a procedural vote. What happened today was a procedural vote, and if the vote had failed, it would have given Democrats control of the House. If you pull up the previous question language, you will not find a single thing about Epstein. And so you've got all of these left-wing media organizations, all of these Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries, who's the House Minority Leader, saying, oh, the Republicans voted to shut down the Epstein file. That is not what happened. Take a look at what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say about this. She breaks it down even a little bit better. Take a look at this.
I got to correct something real quick.
Please.
So it's being reported that House Republicans unanimously voted to block the release of the Epstein files. And I want to straighten out the record right now. That is not true. If I could vote, okay. If I could vote to release the Epstein files, guys, you would have my vote. I would vote.
And you know she's telling the truth. You guys know Marjorie Taylor Greene, out of all the congressional Republican members, she's been pushing for the release of these files for a long time. So you know she wants them. I trust her sincerity here.
Oh, yes. Here's what just happened. It was a procedural vote, and we have these all the time. It's called a PQ. It's voting on the previous question. And if the Democrats had won the previous question, which I know sounds insane, it's one of these crazy rules in the House that are hard to understand, that means they would control the House floor. And that means they could bring up anything. They could bring up impeachment articles against President Trump. They could bring up a whole package of insane Democrat agenda items and force votes on the House floor on these things. That's what we voted against. We never allowed Democrats to have control of the House floor because we control the House floor.
Yes.
So it's a misunderstanding, and I just wanted to straighten that out.
I mean, it's not even a misunderstanding. It is a deliberate lie, a deliberate and intentional lie to make it seem like the House GOP is trying to keep the Epstein files hidden. Actually, and we're going to break this down today very thoroughly. If you bear with me here, we have some bombshell news today. Stand by, folks. The House GOP is actually trying to do the exact opposite. The congressional Republicans, the majority of them seems to be the case. They are actually doing everything they can to release this information. We're going to break it down here in a minute. But what today's procedural vote did, it had nothing to do with this Epstein drama. The House GOP prevented the House Democrats from gaining control of the House, preventing them from pulling more ridiculous time-wasting stunts like this magic minute stunt that we saw Hakeem Jeffries, House Minority Speaker, pull 2 weeks ago when they were trying to pass the big, beautiful bill. Remember when he got up there and he talked for almost 9 hours? Okay, what the Republicans voted on today, which has nothing to do with Epstein, prevents the Democrats from doing things like that or introducing more and more time-wasting, dead-on-arrival bills to the House that they know they're not going to pass, but it wastes everybody's time. And so that's what the vote today was on whether or not the Republicans are going to allow the House Democrats to waste everybody's time and taxpayer dollars. This had nothing to do. So we got to correct the narrative here. This had nothing to do with the Epstein files. Now, President Trump, like I said, has chimed in twice today, once earlier this morning and once about 90 minutes ago, giving his input on the current status of the ongoing, unfolding Epstein situation. We're going to take a look at this, and then we are going to continue to break everything down. First off, this is from this morning.
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing.
and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, you know, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
Okay, so he's talking about Pam Bondi, the Attorney General at the DOJ. So he's saying, listen, Pam Bondi, whatever she thinks is credible, she's going to release. If not, then not. And really, all of these Epstein files, they were cooked up by the Democrats. That is what he is saying now. That's kind of the narrative that Trump is running with at the moment. Some people believe that. Some people don't. This is the second time he has said this. He said this 2 days ago. He said it again this morning. President Trump chimes in on this again. This is about 90 minutes ago on the tarmac. Take a look at this. We'll let this one play too.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say let them have it.
So from this, we heard three things. We heard, the Epstein story is akin to Crossfire Hurricane or the Comey stuff or the Steele dossier, fake news, Democrat baloney, propaganda. So he's sort of equating the Epstein situation to all of that stuff. Okay, so that and that's effectively what we heard in the clip we played just a moment ago. Okay, so that's what Trump is saying there. And then he also said all of this stuff is very boring and inconsequential, and I don't really know why anybody would even want to know about it anyway. It's just boring. It doesn't really matter. And then also at the end, he says, anything that is credible, Pam Bondi, go ahead and release it. Go ahead and release it, Pam Bondi. Okay, so here we have the door is open a little bit, a crack. President Trump is maybe ceding a little bit of ground here to the people, maybe some of you guys. I've been frustrated about this, as a lot of you guys know. Seems like a lot of MAGA voters have been frustrated about this. In fact, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. The door is open. Maybe we are going to get more information. That's my final takeaway from what he said here. Maybe more stuff is going to come out. Now, this is weird news that I have also seen the far left media talking about for the last 12 hours. And to be very clear here, I can't corroborate this. I don't know if this is true or not. I maybe kind of believe it because, well, let me just read the news, then we'll talk about it. President Trump called various conservative influencers to urge them, this would happen yesterday, to urge them to drop their criticism of the administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case amid growing upset with his base. Who here noticed yesterday afternoon a lot of conservative commentators all across the internet just sort of dropping the situation, saying, all right, I'm done. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, yesterday afternoon. And so I don't know if this actually happened. I don't know if this didn't happen. This is news that's being reported by left-wing media outlets generally, so keep that in mind. However, I did notice something yesterday afternoon, not one, but two or three different conservative commentators say, all right, I'm just kind of not going to talk about this anymore. So I don't know. I really don't know. I guess it wouldn't surprise me, but I guess just something to keep in mind. Obviously, I just want to say this real quick. Obviously, I did not get the call because I have been talking about this every single day, much to my own dismay. I've been maybe even pissing off some members of the audience, members of our community here. They're saying, hey, why are you talking about this? Move on. Come on. It doesn't matter. I just want to put the record out. I think this does matter. I'm not going to stop talking about this. I think this is a big deal, and this matters to me. And even if it doesn't matter to you, you should still probably be concerned about this, because now we're going to get over to the Mark Mitchell at Rasmussen Reports segment of the show. Once again, Rasmussen Reports is probably the single most highly respected conservative pollster for at least the last 10 years. President Trump, on numerous occasions, has always praised and given credit and respect to Rasmussen Reports. Folks, listen, my fellow America First President Trump voters, we've got some bad news, okay? We need to have an adult conversation here. Whether or not you think this situation is important with Epstein, it is important to a lot of people, even if not you, and this is getting reflected in the polls already. Mark Mitchell earlier today posted the independent Trump approval a week after inauguration was +6. Independent Trump approval now is -19. He said a major part of Trump's coalition is pissed off. And now Mark Mitchell made a guest appearance on Steve Bannon's War Room earlier today, and I want you guys to take a listen to this. Let's see what he had to say. This is probably the number one conservative pollster in the game. Take a look.
Hang on 1 second. I just want to go back to your opening. Given the role he's been on and the run he's been on, and particularly the other day, even the media was saying they've never seen a president on this kind of run, and it kind of kicks off the summer where there's less interest in politics, but it's just his momentum's building. You would have anticipated, with landmark legislation, with although we didn't like the involvement in Iran, he did dramatically end the 12-day war and didn't have regime change. I mean, everything he's doing is kind of clicking. Just that being, if this hadn't come up a Sunday a week ago, what would you have anticipated his polling? Where would you see the trend line going? Where would you see his polling going on a national basis and with the MAGA movement?
Well, just talking about his job approval rating, he hit net +8 June 15th, which was also, I will admit, the first day that Israel attacked Iran. I think it was June 13th. And it's been downhill since then. So he's lost 12 points now. He's underwater 4 points. People who've been following us know that we've been putting out a chart pretty much daily that overlays all the presidential net approvals going back to Obama 1. And where I was going into July 4th was I said, well, Trump's probably a day or two away from crossing over Obama's numbers. And where are we now? Donald Trump is crossing under Joe Biden's numbers. And so that's a pretty big reversal in less than a week. And the biggest news, I mean, that I can attribute to this, it's like maybe people have heartburn that the one big beautiful bill was, the messaging was a bit of a mess. It doesn't cut enough. Maybe it's the news that Republican establishment is playing footsie with amnesty because of all the people who love slave labor.
Could be.
But the big one is Epstein, and people keep downplaying it. But this is not about a guy who died in 2019. This is about a representation of two-tier justice and about unaccountable government. And I don't think, listen, back in March or...
I think fundamentally that is the biggest thing with the Epstein situation. I really think Mark Mitchell's right about this. The problem people have with the way this is being handled is that it broadcasts the message that the elite, the rich, the wealthy that are committing these terrible, heinous crimes are not getting held accountable, whereas any other regular American citizen would be held accountable and also should be held accountable for this stuff. But that if you are a rich, connected Hollywood elite or Washington, D.C. elite, whatever, that you get off scot-free. Okay? That idea, this idea of a two-tiered justice system, it bothers people. I think it rightly pisses people off. I think he's spot on about that.
It was the end of February. Voters were let down on the Epstein thing, too. But that's because they thought Trump was, okay, he'll just bring it later. It's been a campaign promise. And I know that he didn't specifically quote it very many times. But this has been basically a proxy for government accountability and redress for the deep state. And so what happened, in my opinion, in the last few days is there was a major rug pull, and it's affecting his polling. Now, what do I...
So by the way, this is the polling that Mark Mitchell is talking about here. This bright red line is Donald Trump. This is Rasmussen polling. This is the most, like, I don't know what to tell you. This is the most highly respected conservative pollster in the game. Everybody knows that for over a decade now. Now, I want to clarify something because I saw somebody in the chat, they say, oh, Matt Morris is a panican. I actually have an opinion that is strategically designed to piss off everybody because, one, I do think this is a problem. I do think this entire situation has been handled catastrophically, terribly by the Trump administration. And you guys know I'm a Trump voter. I voted for Trump 3 times. I love Trump. And this is how I manage my personal life and also kind of how I manage politics, I guess. I think that if you care about someone and respect someone and cherish them, whatever, you need to be honest. You need to give them the respect of being honest with them. Okay. So like I said, I think the situation has been handled catastrophically and terribly, but I know we've seen this time and time again that President Trump actually listens to his supporters. President Trump listens to his base. President Trump cares what the people say. He does. He's a nationalist. He's a populist. He cares about you. He cares about us. He cares about your opinion. And so we have seen time and time again where something has been going on, and then the people, they speak out in an uproar, and then President Trump sees that, they listen to it, President Trump listens to it, and then President Trump course corrects. President Trump genuinely does care about what his base is saying, okay? And so here's the deal. Like, I'm just going to be blunt. I'm going to sideline the Mr. Nice Guy deal here for a second. I'm going to cut the bullshit, guys. All of you that are saying, hey, trust the plan, shut up, you're a panican, silence, you're not allowed to ask questions, you need to stuff it, buddy. Listen, shut the hell up. The only reason we even have a MAGA movement or an America First movement in the first place is because 10 years ago, when Donald Trump came down the golden escalator in Trump Tower in the middle of 2015, we all collectively said, we are sick of the rhinos, we are sick of the neocons, we're sick of the radically progressive political Washington, D.C. establishment, we're sick of the deep state, we're sick of the swamp, we're bucking the system, we're using our First Amendment rights, we're letting the people know, and we're electing an outsider who was not a politician, he's a businessman, okay? And he came in from out of nowhere, and we supported him. That's what got us here, okay? This blind compliance of, listen, that's not what got us here. What got us here is our First Amendment and holding our political leaders accountable. And this is what has made President Trump so effective for a decade now, is because he actually listens to us. So when things are getting turbulent now, what ought we do? Speak up. Let him know. We should let him know. We saw a clip. This was in my video that I uploaded earlier today. We saw a clip from Laura Trump from yesterday afternoon where she said, listen, President Trump, he sees that people are frustrated. He sees that. He sees that the base is upset, and he's probably going to do something about it. That's her opinion. Okay, that's Laura Trump. So listen, all of these people, I'm losing my mind. I'm getting pissed off. I'm losing my mind. I'm going crazy. Hey, trust the plan. Shut up. You're a panican. Listen. My plan is that the American people use their First Amendment and speak up. I think that's the best plan. That has always been the best plan. The plan that I trust is the American people, American patriots, speaking up and letting their voices be heard. If you're saying shut up and never ask questions and never give your opinion, listen, you sound more like a Democrat. You sound more like you're a part of the liberal hive mind over there. Over here on the right, we're critical thinkers. We can have an open dialogue. I'm sick of this. Shut up, trust the plan. You shut the hell up. I'm sick of it. I'm losing my mind because we know that Trump listens to us. We know he does. He has done it time and time again. Okay, but listen. There's my monologue. There's my rant. Okay, Mr. Nice Guy, we're back. Okay, Mark Mitchell's not done though. What did Mark Mitchell have to say? Follow up on this.
Yeah, but before I get into that polling, I just want to start at a high level and say Donald Trump came in with really great approval numbers. He's brought a lot of foreign investment back to the United States. He just signed his signature legislation less than 2 weeks ago, and it's the summer. The Democrats are imploding. He took out the Iranian nuclear weapons program, which was insanely popular. And so where his approval rating should be right now.
I don't know if you guys know this. Listen, I think maybe in certain areas of the conservative movement, bombing Iran was controversial, no doubt, depending on who you're talking to. Overall, all the polling actually indicated that it's like 65% of MAGA voters actually supported President Trump bombing Iran. So that really was not a controversial issue. That issue, the bombing of Iran, that should not be putting Trump underwater right now. It's got to be something else.
is soaring, and it's not. It's plunging. It's 1 point away from the lowest net approval rating that he's had this entire cycle. And the last time he had a rating, it was -5, was back in April. That was when the market imploded 15%. So people are trying to say this isn't a big deal. People are trying to say nobody wants this Epstein information out. It's an absolute misdirection. This is horrifying. And if it isn't corrected, it threatens derailing Trump's agenda, getting rid of his political capital. If this isn't fixed, this might hang over Trump's administration. It could be his Afghanistan going into the fall with Democrats still pounding away. How come you flip-flopped on Epstein? And they are, in my opinion, there are some very easy fixes, but I just want to get to the
And by the way, folks, like I said earlier in today's broadcast, we might have some fixes in the pipeline. The House GOP has been cooking on this. Despite the narrative of the progressive left, the House GOP actually is right now, today, this is breaking news today, trying to get these files out to you guys. Take a look at Super Chats. Derek Rogers. Mr. Rogers, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I really do. It's a big Super Chat. This is also from David. In the end, we will not see one senator or congressperson in jail. Maybe. I don't know. Hey, we got to see. We got to see. And thank you very much, David. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much for the support. There was another one earlier that said more help with moving to Idaho. We're moving to Idaho in a couple weeks. Thank you very much for that one as well. I appreciate that. I saw that one earlier. Thank you. Now, folks, like I said, the House GOP is trying to actually get these files in front of you. Breaking news. House Speaker Mike Johnson has called just a couple hours ago, Attorney General Pam Bondi to hold a press conference and to answer questions about the Epstein list. He said, quote, "Let's get this thing resolved. I'm anxious to get this thing behind us." Okay. Before we get into this, because we have a 2.5 minute long clip, a 2 minute long clip here where he says this and he says more. We're going to watch that here in a second. Why would House Speaker Mike Johnson be concerning himself with the Epstein list? Why? Does he have to care? Maybe he doesn't have to care. Maybe nobody cares. He does care. Why is he inserting himself in this situation with the Epstein list? Well, I'll tell you why. Well, this is my opinion. Let me know what you think. A lot of people have been saying, listen, hey, if you panicans like Matt Morse, if you guys keep talking about the Epstein list, then we're going to lose midterms. You guys need to shut up about the Epstein list. It's divisive. Otherwise, we're going to lose midterms and it's going to be your fault. I flip it back. I'm flipping it back on you. If this Epstein list does not get released or we have some type of satisfactory conclusion to this entire Epstein situation, that is what will cause us to lose midterms. Midterms are a lost cause. We are losing them unless we get a satisfactory conclusion to this Epstein situation. That is my opinion, and that's why it's got to come out. And so why is House Majority Speaker Mike Johnson speaking up about this? It's because he knows that if this situation is not concluded in a satisfactory way, where the MAGA base is happy with how this has gone, then he's going to lose his job as the Speaker of the House. Let's play this here.
Speaker Johnson, this is sort of on the heels of something else that a lot of people are asking questions about. And because we've been lied to by our federal government for so long, I feel like there's some type of like there's a pain point, right? And a pressure cooker that gets heated up on issues like the Epstein issue, right? And obviously that's something that's taken over a lot of the online dialogue. I have a question here about it that concerns either testifying or testimony for Ghislaine Maxwell, potentially before Congress, or if you would support.
Maxwell wants to testify. We talked about this yesterday and also in today's video. Maxwell, Ghislaine, however you say her name, she wants to speak in front of Congress. For the first time ever, she has decided now she wants to do it.
Members like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Anna Paulina Luna on the release of subpoenaing the Epstein documents from the DOJ, whether you would support either of those.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Marjorie or Anna about that specific subject, but I'm for transparency. We're intellectually consistent in this. We look, Reagan used to tell us we should trust the American people. I believe in that principle. I know President Trump does as well, and I trust him. I mean, he put together a team of his choosing, and they're doing a great job.
And isn't that just a beautiful quote from Ronald Reagan, former President Reagan? We should trust the American people, because really, let's be honest here. The reason why we don't have the Epstein files or the Epstein list, whatever it is, the reason why we don't have more information is because either there's a cover up or the American people are not being trusted, right? Trust the American people. Ronald Reagan said it best. Let it out.
It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide it. I mean, the White House and the White House team are privy to facts that I don't know. I mean, this isn't my lane. I haven't been involved in that. But I agree with the sentiment that we need to put it out there. And you know, Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody. I like Pam. I mean, I think she's done a good job. We need the DOJ focusing on the major priorities. So let's get this thing resolved so that they can deal with violent crime and public safety. And
he knows. Listen, maybe I'm looking too closely at this. I'm listening to the way he's talking. I'm listening to his tone, what he's saying, the stuff he's saying, and how he's saying it. He's worried that this topic, this issue, is going to lose midterms. Okay, that is why. And we said this 2 minutes ago, but you can tell this is what is in his brain. He's freaking out, rightfully so. By the way, I'm with him. I'm with him on this. He should be freaking out. This is going to lose the Republicans the House.
Election integrity and going after Act Blue and the things that the president is most concerned about, as we are. So I'm anxious to get this behind us.
Speaker John.
I bet he is. I bet he is, rightfully so. I think all of us are anxious to do that. Frank Bailey, thank you very much for that big super chat. Thank you, sir. Beautiful dog, by the way. Thank you. And also, David, again, I will vote Dem senator here in Michigan if this cover-up continues. Like we said, there you go. A lot of people are pissed off. Thank you very much, and I appreciate that a lot. We hear from Lauren Boebert. I said, listen, 3 big things today are happening amongst the House Republicans, amongst the House GOP. Okay, first off, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson said what he said. He said, listen, we need transparency. Pam Bondi, have a press conference, release this stuff, Pam Bondi. That's Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson. We also have various members of the House GOP calling for a special counsel, which is a congressional investigation into this entire situation. That's a big deal. Okay, we had one of those for January 6th. They were investigating Donald Trump and the alleged insurrection. So they want one of those, excuse me, for the Epstein situation. That's happening today. And also, there is now a bipartisan bill that's been drafted up. It's getting pushed into the House to force Pam Bondi at the DOJ to disclose everything relating to Epstein. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But first off, special counsel, Lauren Boebert.
So judicial committee hearing, that would be most likely the committee where a Ghislaine Maxwell would testify. Would you be in favor of that?
Absolutely. Yes. Of course, we want answers. No one is satisfied with what has been received or lack thereof. No one is satisfied with the rollout of this. Of course, we've heard that Dan Bongino is not satisfied with the rollout of this either. And, you know, I mean, I think you hear time and time again what an honorable stand-up man Dan Bongino is. President Trump, he obviously thinks highly of Attorney General Pam Bondi. I don't know her personally, but I know Dan. And he's a wonderful man, and I have no reason to doubt him. And I think moving forward, we need it.
I got to say, like, out of all of the people that are handling internally this Epstein stuff, I want to say I trust Dan Bongino the most. Keep in mind, Dan Bongino was one of the biggest conservative podcasters over on Rumble, YouTube before that, in the world for a very long time, for multiple years. And remember, Bongino, he built his entire online presence, his entire persona. I mean, not entire, but a huge part of it was Epstein files. We got to get to the bottom of this, release the Epstein files. That he was harping on that aggressively for years. That was his thing. That was the flagship, okay, of his broadcast was Epstein. This stuff has got to come to a conclusion. And now he's in there.
Need a special counsel. That has got to happen. There has to be a special investigation into this if we aren't going to be provided information. Now, there's a lot of things that Attorney General Pam Bondi is doing well. Of course, President Trump is doing many things well. The FBI is doing a great job. Our Department of Homeland Security is, this mass deportation machine on steroids, and now they have the funding to go after it even more. But this is something, I hope it doesn't become a false idol to Republicans where we just lose sight of everything else. But that doesn't mean we don't want answers. There are plenty of good things to focus on and still more.
This might come as a surprise to some people. I don't know. but this is the truth. You can care about border security and revitalizing the American economy and whatever else, and also not want our political elite in this country to be blackmailed by an international cabal of child sex trafficking blackmailers. Okay, you can want all of that. So I want a secure border. I want mass deportations. I want an American economy that is roaring. I want to drill, baby, drill, do it all. Unleash the American economy, tariffs. The economy is great. We love it. Okay, but also, I don't want our Washington, D.C. ruling elite to be getting blackmailed or be getting caught up in international blackmail operations. Okay, that's just me. That's my personal thing. Okay, I think that's important.
More that we need to do to really get through the next 4 years and hopefully the next 8 years in a Republican majority, God help us, God willing. And so this is certainly important, and I want answers. And maybe that takes that special counsel to do so. Maybe Matt Gaetz can lead the special counsel.
Maybe Matt Gaetz can lead the special counsel.
Would you vote in favor of that?
Absolutely.
I have to say, this was one of my shower thoughts earlier today. I was doing chores around the house, whatever. I was thinking about all this. We were told 7 or 8 months ago that Matt Gaetz is unfit to be our attorney general, because keep in mind, Matt Gaetz was President Trump's original pick for attorney general before he decided on Pam Bondi. The Senate said, listen, we are not going to confirm Matt Gaetz. Why? Because there was all of this rumor, this controversy that maybe we're not sure he had some type of interaction with a 17-year-old girl. It might have been legal. It might not have been. I don't really know. But anyway, that or if it even happened. But anyway, that was the reason why we couldn't have Attorney General Matt Gaetz. So that's the reason why we can't have Attorney General Matt Gaetz, because maybe we're not sure of something with a 17-year-old girl a couple years ago. But also at the same time, the thousands of underage girls that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked and sold out to the global elite or whatever, to our politics, we're not going to look into that. We're not going to look into any of that. There's no client list. Nobody's going to be held accountable. But also, we can't have Attorney General Matt Gaetz because something maybe 17-year-old girl. Like, really? Really? This is a little bit hypocritical at a minimum, right?
Yes. Matt spoke highly of Pam Bondi and saying, that she's the best attorney general that President Trump has had. But yeah, Matt Gaetz as a special counsel, absolutely.
So Matt Gaetz is not going to be attorney general because you have to be confirmed by Senate. It's not going to happen. But maybe as a special counsel, he's going to be on here. Maybe a special counsel's on the way. Now, we also heard this. So far, we've heard from this will be the fourth Republican congressional representative, Representative Burchett. We like this guy. What does he have to say about all of this, folks? Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this.
Should there be an investigation or a special counsel investigation?
I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I just find them guilty and hang them publicly. I mean, that's not over the top either. I'm ready. I'm over it. It disgusts me. I'm
over it. Listen, release the files, find them guilty, and publicly hang them is what Representative Burchett has to say about all this.
Big on clarity and transparency, and that's good reason people don't trust government, either party.
But you don't believe what the Justice Department is saying?
I don't know. No, I don't. I think I don't.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't believe the DOJ or Pam Bondi. No, he doesn't believe it. He thinks there's more going on here.
Trust me.
And so once again, listen, I got to say, even if you're someone that doesn't care about this, you think this is not a big deal. First, I can't even fathom not thinking this is a big deal. But okay, let's say you personally don't think this is a big deal. Guess what? Most people do. Most people do think this is a big deal. And now President Trump has maybe opened the door. Maybe there will be some more information getting released. Maybe we're going to have a special counsel. Now we're having the House Majority Speaker, the Speaker of the House, a Republican, call for Pam Bondi to give an interview to release more information. And not just a special counsel, but like I said, we're having bipartisan legislation get introduced here. Both Democrats and Republicans are signing on to this. This is Roana, a Democrat. He's saying, Representative Thomas Massie and I are introducing the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which is a bipartisan bill that would require the Attorney General to release the files within 30 days. Representative Massey is working on the rule to ensure that there is a vote. There's going to be a vote. The public deserves to know where every member of Congress stands on this issue. And so if there is a vote, we are going to know where all of these congressional members, both Democrats and Republicans alike, stand, because they're going to have to vote on this. Okay, so we're going to know really who wants this stuff out and who does not want this stuff out. We're going to be able to hold these guys' feet to the fire. You want to talk about accountability of our political class in D.C.? This is what accountability looks like. And so Massey posted something about this also. What did he say? He said, this just a couple hours ago, he said, we all deserve to know what is in the Epstein files, who is implicated, and how deep this corruption goes. Americans were promised justice and transparency. We are introducing a discharge petition to force a vote in the U.S. House of Representatives on releasing the complete files. So, seems like this, like I said, this is bombshell news, came out just a couple hours ago. Seems like this is going to make it to the House floor, that a vote will in fact manifest, and then we're going to know how everybody feels about this. Now, I said earlier on in today's broadcast that Matt Walsh, really influential conservative commentator here, he works at the Daily Wire. He has a video, a clip that has been going viral for the last 4, 5, 6 hours. This has 1.3 million views. Everybody, 58,000 likes. Everybody's talking about this. Let's see what Matt Walsh has to say. Play the clip.
Now, of course, we have no idea what information, if any, this sociopath, this evil woman will ultimately reveal. But the fact remains that, especially after the humiliating display by Bondi and the DOJ we've all just witnessed, it's probably worth listening to Maxwell's testimony. If a client list exists at this point, she's the most likely person to tell us. Now, yes, it's an indictment of Pam Bondi and the DOJ that we see any reason to listen to a ghoul like this, but that's where we are. Millions of Americans are not satisfied with what we've been told. And we shouldn't be, because it's been contradictory and insulting to our intelligence every step of the way. So now we're looking elsewhere. This is what happens when people are deceived and strung along for years, only to be told that they're not entitled to any kind of transparency whatsoever. People are not just going to move on with their lives, no matter how badly you want them to.
Listen, I've said this maybe 2, 3, 4 times during today's broadcast. Once again, regardless of your personal feeling, whether you care or you don't care about all of this, enough people care. This is the reality. This is the fact of the matter. Enough people care about this that it is not going away. Okay? We were told maybe 5 days ago, maybe 6 days ago now, that it's over, it's done, stop talking about it, get over it. It's the end of the show with the Epstein thing. What has happened? Okay, attention has picked up more and more and more and more people are talking about it. Okay, people are not getting over this. Now we have bipartisan legislation getting pushed. Now we have a special counsel getting pushed. Now we have the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, a Republican, by the way, the third highest ranking Republican in the country, saying, listen, Pam Bondi, get your ass in front of the media and start answering some questions. Okay, this is not going away. Trump has got to do something here. He does.
And there's a reason for that. And I want to make this very clear to those on the right, including the president himself, who are telling us to just drop the subject and move on. We can't drop it. We can't move on, because what we want is justice. We have a deep desire for justice.
I gotta say, because I see these people in my chat, I see them on my YouTube comments. There are people saying, "Hey, move on, get over it. It's not a big deal." Listen, guys, when we talk about draining the swamp and taking down the deep state, okay, guys, what this Epstein situation means is that there is an international cartel of child sex trafficking blackmailers, okay, prostituting these underage girls out to the elite of our country, Hollywood celebrities, famous people, athletes, political elite in Washington, D.C., and then harvesting blackmail on our elite and then extorting them to get them to push their agenda, okay? Does that not sound like deep state to you? Does that not sound like the swamp to you? How can you say, we got to take down the deep state, we got to drain the swamp, and then you say, oh, international child prostitution blackmail ring? Doesn't matter. Who cares? Like, what is, like, huh? I'm a little bit confused that we're having some people that are like get over it. Like, no, we're not. This is a big deal. This is a very important deal.
And we can see how the corrupt and the powerful are never held accountable. We can look at our cities and see violent criminals running rampant in the streets, also not held accountable. We want these evildoers to be punished.
Yes.
We want the innocent to be defended. We want justice. It's one of the most basic and most honorable of all human desires. We want to see that justice is done. We want to know who else was in those awful videos that Pam Bondi told us about.
That's right.
And we want those people to be dragged in front of us, weeping and begging for mercy. We want them exposed and humiliated and shamed and punished in the harshest and most painful way, because that's justice. And we're not going to drop the subject until we get it. So unseal everything, including the search warrants and the financial disclosures.
I got to say, listen, you guys know I'm a traditionalist here. If our founding fathers had an issue like this in 1776 and 1780, if George Washington uncovered a situation like this going on within his government, do you think he would be saying, it's not a big deal, who cares? Listen, heads would be rolling. Heads would be rolling. The gosh darn guillotine would be pulled out of the garage and heads would be rolling. This is an important deal.
Tell us what exactly was in those truckloads of documents that you recovered in New York. Show us the phase 2 Epstein files that you told us about just a few months ago. In other words, don't give us any more excuses from bureaucrats on Fox News. Don't give us any more stonewalling and doublespeak. We've seen more than enough of that in this case and so many others. Instead, for a change, give us something we're not used to seeing from the federal government and the DOJ. Give us justice.
Justice, transparency, accountability. And you know what? I maintain, like I said, my opinion is perfectly crafted to piss off everybody. Because you've got people right now, let me try to break down the dynamic here. You've got people over here on this side, and they're saying, oh, F Trump, screw Trump. I wish I voted for Kamala. Trump said he was going to do this, and now he's not doing it. Oh, I regret voting for Trump, blah, blah. Okay, you've got those people. We've all seen those people over the last week. That's not me. And then you've got people over here on the other side that are saying, hey, stop asking questions. This is not a big deal. This Epstein stuff, you got to get over it. Who cares? It's not a big deal. Get over it. You're a panicking. You're barely even a Trump supporter, blah, blah, blah. You need to trust the plan. Shut up. Stop asking questions. Obviously, that's not me either. And so, as you all know, I'm in the middle. I genuinely, sincerely believe that President Trump does listen to his base, and it's important for us to speak up and let our political establishment know, let our representative officials know that we are unsatisfied, we expect more, and hold them accountable, and let our voices be heard as Americans do. That's how this entire country is built. It's Americans voicing their concerns and opinions, not blind support and marching blindly and not even knowing where you're going and not asking, hey, stop asking questions. No. Listen, this is what makes our country different and, dare I say, better than every other country in the world. We talk, we chirp, we let our elite know, okay? That's how this country has been built. So if you're just a blind, trust the plan, stop asking questions. Listen, that's not how we do this in this country. That sounds more like you are a progressive. Those guys are the mindless zombies, not us over here. We're talking. We're letting them know, and we're going to keep on doing it. And so, folks, what I'm trying to do every day, this situation, as you can see, is unfolding. More information every single day. There's more to talk about. Okay, so my goal here is to come back every single day and let you guys know. Of course, we don't have a clean, tidy resolution to this situation yet, but I was going to say, I am optimistic that President Trump is going to release more information, or that Trump is going to direct Pam Bondi to release more information. I believe he has kind of left the door open. In that second clip from him that we watched earlier today, this one right here, it sounded like I'm gonna play this back on the way out here. I'm gonna play this for you guys again.
Pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring.
One more time.
And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Credible information, let them have it. Anything that is credible, let them have it. To me, maybe I'm being too optimistic here. What I think is that we are probably going to get some more information in the next couple days. The door is slightly open. I think this is not done. Okay? And whether or not Trump wants it to be done or whether or not he releases more information, listen, we've got a special counsel forming here. Maybe soon we're talking about that. And also we have this bipartisan legislation now getting pushed in the House. So this is not done one way or another. And you know what? Good. I think this should not be done. But everyone, thank you all very much for tuning in today. If you are new, please go down and subscribe to the channel. Please like the video today. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow with more videos and live broadcasts for you guys. Thank you all. That is all we've got for the day, though. Thank you guys. Have a great evening. Have a great morning, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much.